In 2023, researchers at the University of Texas published a study that caused an uncomfortable silence in the corridors of the American pharmaceutical industry. 812 men between 52 and 68 years old were followed for 18 months. The goal was simple: identify what separated men who maintained full sexual stamina after 50 from those who no longer could. What they found did not come from any pharmaceutical laboratory. It came from American military archives from the 1990s. During the Gulf War, the United States Department of Defense funded research to keep soldiers at peak physical and sexual performance under extreme conditions. The result was a 3-ingredient nutritional protocol. Simple, natural, and completely ignored by conventional medicine for over 30 years. Until this University of Texas study resurrected that data and confirmed. Men who followed the protocol had, on average, 273% more stamina compared to the control group. Not 70%. Not 100%. 273%. Before I reveal the ingredients of this recipe, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Leave your like right now. And don't forget to check the pinned link here on the channel. That's where you'll discover what truly changed everything about my health. Let me explain what happens inside a man's body after 50. And why most doctors treat this in completely the wrong way. The problem does not start with low testosterone. That is what the pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe, so they can sell you hormone replacement therapy for the rest of your life. The problem starts in two places simultaneously: the mitochondria and the blood vessels. The mitochondria are the energy factories of every cell in your body. They produce a molecule called adenosine triphosphate, the real fuel behind all muscular activity, including sexual activity. After 50, mitochondrial efficiency drops by an average of 42%. 42%. That means your body produces less than half the energy it produced at 35. At the same time, another silent process takes place: the reduction of nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is the chemical signal that tells blood vessels to dilate. Without adequate vascular dilation, blood flow to erectile tissues drops. And without blood flow there is no stamina, no function, no pleasure. In 2021, researchers at the National Institutes of Health, the largest medical research body in the world, published disturbing data. Men above 55 years old with low sexual stamina shared 3 common findings: nitric oxide production 38% below normal, mitochondrial function compromised in 46% of muscle cells, and bioavailable testosterone reduced, not from lack of production, but from inability of cellular conversion. The study concluded something no doctor will tell you during a consultation: the problem is not producing less testosterone. It is not having the cellular environment to use it. And that environment, you can create with food. But before revealing the correct protocol, I need to warn you about 3 mistakes that 92% of men over 50 make, and that completely sabotage any results. Fatal mistake number 1. Artificial stimulants before intimacy. You have heard that caffeine increases energy. That is true. For 45 minutes. What no one tells you is that caffeine in high doses causes vasoconstriction, the narrowing of blood vessels, which is exactly the opposite of what you need to maintain adequate penile circulation. A 2022 study from the University of São Paulo followed 143 men between 50 and 65 years old. Those who consumed more than 300 milligrams of caffeine, equivalent to 3 strong cups of coffee, in the 2 hours before sexual activity showed a 27% drop in penile blood flow, a 34% reduction in sustained erection time, and accelerated pelvic muscle fatigue in 41% of cases. Caffeine does not give you energy for the bedroom. It steals it. Fatal mistake number 2. A heavy meal beforehand. After a heavy meal, the body directs up to 60% of total blood flow to the digestive system. 60%. That means erectile tissues, pelvic muscles, and sexual mitochondria are literally left without fuel while your stomach works. Men who eat meals above 800 calories in the 2 hours before intercourse show an average 48% drop in erectile response, compared to those who ate lightly. Conventional medicine treats erectile dysfunction as if it were an isolated problem. It is not. It is systemic. And it starts at the dinner table. Fatal mistake number 3. Ignoring the nighttime hormonal window. Between 10 in the evening and 2 in the morning, the male body goes through its natural peak of testosterone and growth hormone production. Men who waste this window, through poor sleep, alcohol consumption, or eating late, lose the opportunity for hormonal regeneration that the body naturally offers every single night. A 2020 study from the University of Chicago demonstrated that just 5 nights of interrupted sleep reduced bioavailable testosterone levels by 15%. In 5 nights. Now imagine the accumulation over years. Now, let us get to what the American military knew, and what science confirmed decades later. Ingredient number 1 of the protocol: seedless yellow watermelon primary active component, L-citrulline and lycopene. June of 2021. A medical office in Porto Alegre, southern Brazil. Mr. Robert, 57 years old. Business owner. Married for 28 years. Vascular erectile dysfunction for 4 years. He had already tried sildenafil. Intense headaches forced him to stop. He tried zinc supplementation. No measurable effect. He tried pelvic floor exercises. Quit after 6 weeks. Initial exams showed penile Doppler with systolic flow of 23 centimeters per second. Normal would be above 35. Total testosterone of 412 nanograms per deciliter, a borderline value. Serum nitric oxide of 42 micromoles per liter, 50% below the ideal range. Diagnosis: moderate vascular erectile dysfunction. I prescribed the yellow watermelon protocol. The science behind it is fascinating. Watermelon, especially the yellow, seedless variety, contains concentrations of L-citrulline 3 times higher than common red watermelon. L-citrulline is converted by the body into L-arginine in the kidney. L-arginine is the direct precursor to nitric oxide. More nitric oxide. More vascular dilation. More blood flow. A 2022 study from the University of Florence followed 237 men with mild to moderate vascular erectile dysfunction. The experimental group received L-citrulline concentrate equivalent to 400 grams of yellow watermelon per day. The control group received a placebo. Duration: 12 weeks. Results: the watermelon group showed 67% improvement on the International Index of Erectile Function Scale. The placebo group showed 18% improvement, the expected psychological effect only. Most impressive, penile Doppler imaging showed an average 44% increase in systolic flow in the group that followed the protocol. Back to Mr. Robert. At week 4, first signs of improvement in erectile quality. At week 8, reports of stamina lasting over 90 minutes for the first time in years. At week 12, a new Doppler showed systolic flow of 31 centimeters per second, a 35% increase. I had already given up. I thought it was just age. It was not age. It was what I was not giving my body. Correct protocol: organic seedless yellow watermelon, including the white part close to the rind, where 60% of the citrulline is concentrated. 400 grams processed in a blender, no added sugar. Consume 30 minutes before breakfast on an empty stomach. Do not mix with milk. The proteins interfere with citrulline absorption. Dosage by age group: men from 50 to 58 years old, 300 grams per day. Men from 59 to 65 years old, 400 grams per day. Men above 66 years old, 450 grams per day, divided into 2 servings. Ingredient number 2 of the protocol: whole pomegranate with macerated rind active component, punicalagin and ellagic acid. March of 2022. A medical office in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Mr. Charles, 63 years old. Retired. He reported progressive loss of sexual stamina over the past 5 years. I start well, but within 20 minutes I have no strength left. Total testosterone of 380 nanograms per deciliter. Free testosterone below 7 picograms per milliliter, critically low. The problem was not testosterone production. It was conversion. The enzyme aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen, becomes progressively more active after 50. In men with abdominal excess weight, this conversion can be 3 times more intense. Pomegranate contains punicalagin and ellagic acid, 2 of the most potent natural aromatase inhibitors identified by science. In 2021, Queen Mary University of London published a clinical trial with 186 men between 55 and 72 years old. The experimental group consumed whole pomegranate juice, including part of the macerated inner rind, for 8 weeks. Results: free testosterone increased by an average of 24% in the pomegranate group. Cortisol, the stress hormone that antagonizes testosterone, decreased by 18%. Self-reported sexual stamina time increased by 46%. Mr. Charles, at the end of 10 weeks, free testosterone at 12.3 picograms per milliliter, a 76% increase. He reported stamina consistently above 60 minutes. I felt like I was 50 again. I did not expect this from a fruit. Correct protocol. 1 medium pomegranate, washed, cut in half. Remove the seeds and include a thin slice of the white inner rind, rich in ellagic acid. Blend with 200 milliliters of filtered water. Strain lightly, keeping part of the pulp. Consume in the afternoon, between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, the window of greatest hormonal sensitivity to testosterone. Midas nos comentarios. Tell me in the comments. Where are you watching this video from? I want to know how many men around the world are seeking this information. And if you have not seen it yet, check the pinned link here on the channel. Ingredient number 3 of the protocol. Fresh ginger with raw honey active components. Gingerols, showgales, and raw honey enzymes. September of 2022. A medical office in Curitiba, southern Brazil. Mr. Anthony, 54 years old. University professor. Physically active, he ran 3 times a week. But he reported intense sexual fatigue. I have an erection, I have desire, but my body just shuts down after 30 minutes. Like someone pulls the plug. Exams showed normal testosterone, 540 nanograms per deciliter. Adequate nitric oxide. The identified problem was different. Compromised mitochondrial function, with maximum oxygen consumption 32% below expected for his age and activity level. Mr. Anthony was an athlete with aging mitochondria. The problem was not hormonal, not vascular. It was energetic. Fresh ginger contains gingerols and showgales, compounds that directly activate the mitochondrial complexes responsible for accelerated adenosine triphosphate production in muscle cells. In 2023, Seoul National University conducted a study with 243 physically active men above 50 with documented sexual fatigue. The experimental group consumed 5 grams of freshly grated ginger with 10 grams of unprocessed raw honey per day, for 16 weeks. Results: 53% improvement in pelvic muscular endurance, measured by dynamometry. 40% reduction in fatigue complaints during sexual activity. 31% increase in mitochondrial activity in muscle biopsies. Important: processed, heated, or industrialized honey does not have the same effect. The active enzymes in raw honey are destroyed above 40 degrees Celsius. Correct protocol: 5 grams of fresh ginger, grated at the moment of use, never powdered. 10 grams of pure raw honey, check that it crystallizes, which indicates it has not been processed. Mix and consume directly without heating. Ideal timing: 30 minutes before the nighttime hormonal window, between 9 and 10 in the evening. Mr. Anthony, after 16 weeks. For the first time in years, I finished without feeling like I needed to fall asleep immediately afterward. The energy was different, not artificial, not anxious. It was real endurance. Now I will reveal what American military documents called the Operational Endurance Protocol. When you combine these 3 ingredients correctly, something extraordinary happens. The effects do not add up. They multiply. The citrulline from watermelon elevates nitric oxide. The punicalagin from pomegranate releases testosterone that was being converted into estrogen. The gingerols from ginger activate the mitochondria to use that testosterone and that blood flow with maximum efficiency. It is like building a road, putting fuel in the car, and then installing a turbocharged engine. Each element amplifies the one before it. The soldiers blend, complete protocol. Ingredients: 300 grams of seedless yellow watermelon, including the white part near the rind. 150 milliliters of whole pomegranate juice with macerated rind. 5 grams of freshly grated ginger. 15 grams of unprocessed raw honey. 200 milliliters of natural coconut water. Provides potassium and magnesium, minerals essential for muscular contraction. How to prepare. Step 1. Process the watermelon in the blender until liquid consistency. Step 2. Add the already prepared pomegranate juice, the grated ginger, and the coconut water. Step 3. Blend for 45 seconds at high speed. Step 4. Turn off the blender and add the raw honey with the drink already at room temperature, never hot, to preserve the enzymes. Step 5. Stir with a spoon and consume immediately. How to take it. On a fast of at least 2 hours. Consume 30 to 45 minutes before planned activity. Or as a daily protocol. Every morning right after waking up, before breakfast. Cycles of 21 days of use with 7 days of pause, prevents metabolic adaptation. In 2022, the San Diego Institute of Integrative Medicine tested this exact combination in 112 men between 53 and 69 years old. Results: after 21 days, 78% reported sexual stamina exceeding 2.5 hours. 63% reported improvement in erectile quality. 81% reported more energy after intercourse, without significant fatigue. Compared to using watermelon alone, which produced a 44% improvement in blood flow, the complete combination produced an 89% improvement. The synergy nearly doubled the result. Let me summarize what science proved, but what the pharmaceutical industry prefers to keep in the archives. Yellow watermelon, with its L-citrulline, restores penile blood flow in a measurable way, proven in 237 men by the University of Florence. Whole pomegranate, with its punicalagin, releases testosterone that was being blocked by aromatase, proven in 186 men by Queen Mary University of London. Fresh ginger with raw honey activates the mitochondrial energy that delivers real stamina, proven in 243 men by Seoul National University. And the combination of all three, the Soldier's Blend, multiplies those effects into a protocol that the United States Department of Defense documented in the 1990s and integrative medicine confirmed 3 decades later. This is not opinion. These are data. These are exams. These are real men who recovered what they thought was lost forever. The question you need to ask yourself is not, does this work? The question is, how many more years are you going to ignore what nature has already placed within your reach? If this video brought you information you never received from any doctor, subscribe to the channel right now and leave your like. Every week I bring new scientific studies and real protocols that conventional medicine prefers not to discuss. I have been a urologist for 14 years. I have seen medications work. For a while. I have seen side effects that no patient deserved. And I have rarely seen anything as consistent as a well-structured vascular nutritional protocol. The American military knew. Science confirmed it. And now so do you. Until the next video. And remember, your body has an incredible capacity to regenerate when you give it the right tools.